folks, I'm Vasel here and welcome back to Best of Publishers. Today we're taking a look at Gamewright Games. Now Gamewright Games is mostly known for making children's games. Gamewright Games is not just that though. They make a lot of family style games and some really great games. The thing about Gamewright that's so impressive to me is how from the very beginning, and they've been around for a long time, they started in 1994, but for many years, as long as I can remember in board gaming, they've managed to be in the big stores. They managed to get their games into Target and Walmart and things like that. That's very impressive to me, and that's cool. And I think a lot of people look at it and go, mass market game. But Gamewright stuff is really great. Now, about 6 or 7, maybe 8 years ago, they really made a shift. They're still making these kids games, right? They still make a lot of great kids games. And when I was looking through my list for Gamewright, I probably played 50 or so of their games. A lot of really cool kids games, but they're also, again, making some more games that are going to appeal to the masses. Almost not party games per se, although they've made some party games. There's just a lot of cool things that they have. Now, probably their most famous game that they have, I think, not amongst gamers, but just amongst people in general, is Slamwich. They've sold a ton of Slamwich. They have decks of, little pieces of bread. As you put these down and you're looking for the same thing, and then you slam the table. They're also the American distributor for Rory's Story Cubes, which has done phenomenally well. And they, like I said, they make a lot of cool little games like Toss Your Cookies and Loot, Captain Clueless, Joe Name It, a party game. A lot of great games. So this one was an easy top 10 for me to make. Here we go. Number 10 is Imagine. Imagine, a board game which basically had clear cards with different color things on them, and it's got a party style game where you put these out there and you got to form things with this card and get people to guess it. It's like Pictionary, but you have these clear cards and you can move things. You can make it three-dimensional if you want. Really a neat idea. It's not completely new. The original idea had come from Out of the Box Publishing back in the day, but I think it was fully realized here in Imagine, adding color and stuff. Really like this game a lot. Number 9 is Walter Wick, Can You See What I See? Now this is based on the books, Walter Wick, Can You See What I See? Where you have a bunch of toys and different things and you're looking through this pile of stuff, kind of a Where's Waldo type of thing, and it's just great. And this is for kids as they're turning cards over and looking for different objects on these cards that are out there, and they'll take them. So it's not just looking for objects though, it's kind of saying, what's the best card to play at any time that gives me the most cards from the middle? It teaches some light strategy to kids, but also allows them to look and find things, which I really liked. Number 8 is Turn the Tide. This is a trick-taking game. This one's been out for a while now. As the tide goes up and down and you are playing different cards. Trick-taking games, if you never played one, kind of like Hearts where you play a card and people follow suit. So you're all playing different cards each time and seeing who's going to score the most points. Recommend it. Number 7 is Ka-Ching. Ka-Ching is a 2-player game where you have like a grid of cards and there's money cards and you're trying to collect different money cards and score multipliers. There's a little bit of multiplication in this game, but not much. But it's actually a pretty good back and forth, quick, strategic 2-player game. Definitely recommend it. Number 6 is Rolling America. Now, Rolling America is based on an original game from Japan called Rolling Japan. Rolling America is a dice game in which you are going to be rolling dice and then everyone's going to look at the dice that are rolled and basically put marks on a map of America and fill in the different things as you put different numbers down, and you can only put numbers that are 1 up or 1 down from other numbers on the map, and you're trying to fill in every spot as that you possibly can. A really solid game as you are looking at different colors and numbers and things. I don't know, I recommend this one, and you can play with, really, there's no limit to the number of people who can play it. Other than around the table, but definitely one that you should check out. Let's see, we are now at number 5. Man, I like number 5, Cube Quest. You might have seen me and Holly play this one live. We've done it a few times. Cube Quest is a game in which you're building a bunch of cubes, right? They're different monsters, and you can build them any way you want. You're building towers or just putting them on the thing, and then you're flicking them at each other, trying to smash each other's stuff up. It's a dexterity smash them up game. Flick, blow your stuff up. Flick, blow your stuff up. Some people have special powers. It really bugs me that there's not more of this. I love a sequel to this with more special powers, or maybe even an expansion with a few extra things, or just more cubes in general, or a way to make it a 4-player game. But hey, whatever. It's still a super fun 2-player game. It's silly as all get out, but I love Cube Quest. Number 4 is Outfox. I talk about kids games all the time. Outfox is one I really like because it teaches kids deduction. There's a bit of a push your luck aspect, the Yahtzee thing at the beginning where you roll dice as you move your fox around the board. And when you get to different things, you will find out that this fox who has stolen something, you find out that either maybe they were wearing a hat, or maybe they weren't wearing a hat, or were they wearing a scarf, or were they not wearing a scarf. And as time goes by, all the kids, you as a cooperative group, are going to figure out which fox is the thief. Really cool. Cooperative, some neat dice rolling, and the deduction element makes this one of the best children's games there is, honestly. Number 3, Forbidden Island. Forbidden Island changed everything, right? Forbidden Island's from Matt Leacock, who at the time when it came out, everyone knew who he was for making Pandemic. Forbidden Island, everyone's like, oh, it's a kid's game of Pandemic. Well, it's definitely a game that kids can play very easily. But it's not just for kids, it's a game for families. And Forbidden Island has this island that's sinking, and as the island is sinking, you are trying to go get some different artifacts and then find a helicopter and get off the island. It's a really simple game, but the components and the production is gorgeous, the price point is really low, and the game is fun. It's like a perfect storm of amazement. I know that this game has done really well. Lots of people have played it. If you have a family and you're looking for a great cooperative game, this is certainly one of the best. Number 2 is Sushi Go Party. Now, Sushi Go itself was a fun game. It's a drafting game where you get a bunch of cards, you decide which one to keep, pass them around the table until you have a bunch of cards, and then cards will score you different things. You know, maybe having 3 of this kind will give you points, and if you have these 2 different cards together, give you points. Sushi Go Party has all different kinds of sushi, and you pick which ones you're going to put into a deck at any given time for drafting purposes. So it's very different. And again, extremely low price point for a ton of replayability. You can just go around a table and play it. Very easy game to get into, very easy game to teach, and yet, you know, for someone like me who I play lots and lots of heavy, big games, it's still one that I'm very glad to play. And my favorite game from Gamewright is the sequel to Forbidden Island, and that is Forbidden Desert. Forbidden Desert is basically your plane has crashed in a desert. You need to find some pieces of a mysterious machine to get out. So players are cooperatively working together, but there's sand that's shifting all over the board. You don't want to get stuck in sand. You don't want to run out of water. The sun is hot, of course. It's actually a better game than Forbidden Island, and it's still fairly accessible, although I think it offers deeper strategy than Forbidden Island also. Again, though, great production values, low cost. When people say, I want to get into board gaming, I'm looking for cooperative games. It's like Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert. Pick one, play them both. They're great games, but they are not the same. They're very different. One, you're trying to get off an island as it sinks. The other one, you're like moving around in the desert trying to find these artifacts as the sand is blowing all over the place. So, really neat. I really like Gamewright. I really like talking to them. I really think it's neat how they manage to keep 1 foot in the hobby game market and 1 foot in the mass market. And they put games out there that when someone goes to a big store and they're like, oh, I bought a Gamewright game, I'm like, oh, good. I mean, there's Gamewright games I don't like. There is. But for the most part, I think that they do a phenomenal job, and I'm glad they're part of our industry. Anyway, those are my 10 favorite Gamewright games. Tell me what yours are in the comments. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. This has been Best of Publishers, Gamewright.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.